Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Lori Vallow's missing children.
Where are your kids?
She's been arrested in Hawaii on multiple charges, including felony child desertion.
She hasn't told anybody where the kids are.
She was talking about end of days.
She said it would be better to put the kids in the car and go off the side of a cliff.
So you've got 4 dead and 2 missing.
It is time for you to end this. Find those kids.
Today, an Idaho mother whose 2 children have not been seen in 4 months is behind bars after being arrested in Hawaii. It's the story that has America baffled. A teenager and her special needs younger brother vanish into thin air, and their mother, Lori Vallow, appears completely unbothered that her 2 children seem to be missing. In fact, she boxed up their things and put them into a storage unit, adopted out her autistic son's therapy dog, and after authorities conducted a welfare check at her Idaho home, she picked up and moved to Hawaii right away. Just 1 month after 17-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ were last seen, Lori posed for beach photos with her 5th husband, Chad Daybell, a man reportedly known for his extreme religious beliefs and his writings about the end of the world and the afterlife. Now, could those beliefs have something to do with the children's disappearance? The FBI say these children are in danger. Well, Lori Vallow was arrested in Hawaii and charged with felony desertion and non-support on dependent children. But despite that development, there still is no sign of these children. Take a look.
We start with developing news now. A family member of 2 eastern Idaho children missing since September is now asking anyone who knows about the case to come forward.
Where are 7-year-old JJ and his sister Tylee? JJ is a happy kid who likes to sing with his grandpa. But Joshua JJ Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan were last seen in Rexburg, Idaho. When their extended family hadn't heard from JJ, they asked police to perform a welfare check.
7-year-old JJ Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan were last seen in September. That's a few weeks before their mother, Lori Vallow, married a man named Chad Daybell.
The search for 2 children from Idaho has taken an alarming turn. Their parents are now missing too, and the FBI thinks the kids are in serious danger.
Police say Lori Vallow lied to them about the children's whereabouts and then disappeared a day later.
Lori and Chad Daybell surfaced in Hawaii, 3,000 miles from Idaho.
All quiet on the island of Kauai when it comes to the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. Their curtains are shut, and neighbors say they've only seen them once, smiling and waving as they got into a car.
Newly released video could provide clues in the case of 2 missing children from Idaho. The video shows what's believed to be the children's mother putting their belongings in storage.
Surveillance video appears to show Lori Vallow and a man visiting the storage unit on multiple occasions last fall. At one point, a man is seen carrying out a heavy tote bag. Inside the unit, police found bikes, photos, and a backpack with JJ's initials.
Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell refused to answer a reporter's questions moments after police in Hawaii executed a search warrant and seized their rented SUV.
Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children?
Vallow was ordered to present the children to Idaho authorities by today.
Does this dog hold the key to the fate of 2 missing children? Bailey, a golden doodle puppy, was trained as a service dog for 7-year-old JJ Vallow, who has autism. But JJ's mom, Lori Daybell, got rid of the dog just days before the youngster and his 17-year-old sister Tylee vanished without a trace.
Police in Idaho have found a cell phone belonging to one of 2 missing children. But in an eerie development, it appears a text was sent from Tylee's phone after she had disappeared.
A source close to it telling me that Tylee's phone appears to have been found with her mother, Lori Vallow, in Hawaii. Tylee's cell phone was used several times after she disappeared. On October 25th, 2019, a month after the 17-year-old disappeared, a text from her phone was sent to a worried friend saying, "Hi, miss you guys too, love ya." That friend saying it didn't sound like her. Now the question this morning, was it really her using it?
This story is just so unbelievable. How is this even possible? These aren't babies. Lori's daughter is 17 years old. This couple is known to have doomsday and end-of-the-world beliefs. So is it possible that these children are alive and well? Maybe they have them hidden somewhere that they think they'll be safe. Maybe they think they're protecting them. And if this situation weren't strange enough, there have been several recent and untimely deaths surrounding the couple in the past 2 years. They include 2 of Lori's husbands, Lori's brother, and Chad Daybell's wife.
A couple from Idaho could face charges for failing to prove that their children are alive. Vallow and her new husband are also under suspicion for a string of mysterious deaths.
In the past 8 months, the couple's former spouses and Vallow's brother all died under what authorities say are suspicious circumstances. As authorities work to find out what happened to Joshua J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, they're looking into the past of Chad Daybell, now married to the children's mother, Lori Vallow. Daybell self-published more than 25 books from this Idaho home, many about his brush with death and the end of the world.
On September 5th, Lori sent an email to Life Academy. She wrote that their lives have changed drastically since her husband, Charles Vallow, passed away.
Vallow moved to Idaho to be with Daybell after her previous husband, Charles Vallow, died of suspicious causes last summer in Arizona.
And I know it's tough to follow, but there's more. Investigators are also reportedly looking into Lori Vallow's ex-husband's death.
Relatives say Charles Vallow filed for divorce in February 2019, concerned not only about his wife's radical behavior, but also about 7-year-old JJ's safety. He said his wife made claims she was working to carry out Christ's second coming, and that if he got in her way, she would murder him.
Her ex-husband was killed by her brother. That brother is now also dead.
Just 5 months later, Charles Vallow was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who claimed self-defense.
Investigators say Charles was supposed to pick up his son, JJ. Instead, he got into a fight with his brother-in-law.
Fire department, what is the address of the emergency?
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense.
A man named Alex Cox calmly stating he had just shot and killed his brother-in-law in self-defense. A Chandler police body cam captured what happened when officers arrived on the scene.
Chandler Police Department, anybody inside, make yourself down!
Empty rooms, mattresses on the bedroom floors, a handgun, and the body of 62-year-old Charles Vallow laying on the ground in the living room.
His death is being investigated by the Chandler Police Department.
And to complicate things, Alex died last month.
It does make it more challenging. We can't obviously interview him anymore.
Another piece of the puzzle, the $1 million life insurance policy on Vallow's ex-husband, Charles.
This is a case stretching from Utah to Arizona, and as you've just seen, very complicated.
Investigators say the children's disappearance could be connected to the death of Daybell's former wife.
A librarian in town, Tammy Daybell, died in her home October 19th. She was initially thought to have died of natural causes, but in a later investigation, the local sheriff's office determined her death might be suspicious. Her body was exhumed for an autopsy, and those results are pending.
Now, 3 deaths surrounding this couple are all under investigation. That includes her husband, Charles Vallow, her brother, Alex Cox, who shot him, and Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy.
An Idaho mother whose 2 children haven't been seen since September is behind bars this morning. Now she's been arrested in Hawaii on multiple charges, including felony child desertion.
Well, today, some say they witnessed a transformation in Lori from loving mother to infatuated newlywed, obsessed with the end of the world and her new husband. Well, coming up, Lori Vallow's son joins us here today. He's here to beg his mother to reveal what happened to his younger siblings. We'll talk to him after the break.
We've had 2 deaths in 3 months. Everybody's passing away. My siblings on top of this are missing. My mom was missing until they found her in Hawaii. Everything was a question mark. And that's what's hard. Yeah, I'm in the inside, it's my family, but it's like a movie.
And later,
her fixation on the end times, like that was brand new. She had never mentioned anything about that.
and what did she say about the kids with regard to that?
Still more questions than answers in the disappearance of an Idaho brother and sister.
Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell, a prominent doomsday writer, traveled to Hawaii on November 27th after police conducted a welfare check on Vallow's Idaho townhouse. Both have denied any wrongdoing.
Yeah, several people now tangled up in a web of murder, missing kids, and scandal. And now most of them are dead or haven't been seen again.
Now, Lori Vallow's eldest son, Colby, says he doesn't believe his mother would ever hurt her children, but says she needs to start answering questions.
The day before Thanksgiving, 2 detectives knocked on my door and they asked me, do you know where Tylee is? Do you know where JJ is? And immediately it was panic. I called my mom and asked her why the detectives were looking for the kids, and she basically just said, I got it. I'll take care of it. I love you. Don't worry about it. That was the last time I spoke with my mom. Last time I saw my mom was August 30th. She said that they were moving away. She did not tell me where they were moving. I spoke with Tylee mostly over text. She would FaceTime with me and my new baby, and I started just noticing little changes in her response time, number one, the way that she spoke, the way she didn't capitalize things, and I'd call her and she would never answer. I just had this feeling like, what is off? Like, why can't you call me? So my wife found some information that they were in Rexburg and she was married to a guy I'd never heard of, and that they were looking for the kids, and that they abandoned their house. And that was the start of everything right there. We've had 2 deaths in 3 months. Everybody's passing away. My siblings on top of this are missing. My mom was missing until they found her in Hawaii, and it was just, everything was a question mark. And that's what's hard, because I'm in the inside, that's my family, but it's like a movie. It's like, it's not real life. My mom has always talked about the end of the world or the second coming and things of that nature. I read that she was gonna lead the second coming of Jesus, and that she had all this stuff going on with angels and things like that. My fear is everything to do with the kids, and now she's with someone who feeds that side of the world ending, and that's their joint belief. It seems like they've cut all ties to everything. I want my mom to know that her actions have caused a complete devastation. I'm at everything that she's done. I'm mad that my entire family is a shattered vase, and it just seems like she doesn't care about anything.
All right, well, Colby, thank you for being here. You're concerned about these children, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You never expect anything like this to happen, and we're in a position where I had to hear everything through the news, and I can't reach out and talk to my family, and it's really, really hard.
Okay, now you say the last communication with Tylee were texts, and you say they didn't sound like her.
When she started texting me back a couple of weeks after we had FaceTime, it just started like not sounding right, like different, exclamations. And just the way she spoke didn't fit her personality.
Okay, so you were FaceTiming up until when?
August 30th was the last time I saw her and JJ together.
Okay, and that was on FaceTime?
Yeah.
How did they sound?
They were normal, and that was the thing. Like, it didn't seem like anything crazy. They were just trying to, live their normal lives, and we just were talking like normal, and
just yucking it up, and chatting and all.
Having a normal conversation.
All right, well, here's a text exchange between you and Tylee's phone number, at least, and this was on September 28th of 19, which would be like 4 weeks after you last saw them on FaceTime. And Colby, you say, "Hey, Ty, happy birthday. I'm so proud of you. I know you have been through a lot. Trust God, it's all gonna be okay." Then Tylee says, "Thanks, Colbs, I love you."
She's usually using emojis. So that's kind of the one thing that you can already tell, like, it seems, and it's really quick response.
And so you say, "Hey, Ty, are you okay?" She says, "I'm good, just tired. Call you back later, love you." And you say, "Okay, call me tonight, please. At the movie, I'll call you after." And you say, "Ty, please call me after your movie. I'm worried about you." And she says, worried about me? What? I just want to hear you talk. Okay, this week was just busy. I'll call you soon. And you're saying this is not the kind of banter you have with her?
Yeah, and the fact that this week is busy, like, what does that have to do with right now? And I just tried to push her a little bit just to get her to call me. It didn't seem like a difficult task. It was so, like, you know, push me away. Every time I asked her to call me, just push her to the side. I'm busy, and that doesn't make sense.
So this is not her?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your relationship.
It's not our
with her.
relationship, exactly.
What's her relationship with JJ?
She kind of stepped into a mother role in a sense for him, and he loved her, and he loved spending time with her, and she babysat him, and she played with him. She did everything for him and with him.
And how did she get along with your mother?
They had a really complicated relationship, and they just fought a lot, and they had kind of that back and forth. Tylee's really strong-willed. She's always done things basically the way that she would want to do it. She doesn't get pushed into things, and she just has always known how to take care of herself and take care of JJ too.
So what would her likely reaction be if she felt that there was a threat? Would she have taken him and gone into hiding?
I really hope so.
But if she went into hiding,
right,
would she have been in touch with you?
I think so.
You think if you're one person she would contact?
I think she'd be immediately contact me, because I would immediately go get her and JJ.
Yeah. Well, we have to take a break. Next, 17-year-old Tylee's aunt is here. She believes that Lori Vallow may have had a hand in possibly harming these children. We're going to meet Annie and add her to this conversation after the break.
Seeing the video footage of Lori and Chad living their best aloha life in Hawaii, Lori's children are unaccounted for, is unimaginable.
And later, when I look at the video from the storage building, that's some kind of a bag. Now, that's very heavy. What would be in that bag that's so heavy?
Newly released surveillance video reveals a woman believed to be Vallow along with an unidentified man making trips to this Idaho storage unit just weeks after her kids went missing. Inside, children's clothes, bikes, photos, and a backpack. At one point, the man is seen leaving with a heavy tote bag. Rich Robertson is a private investigator working with JJ's grandparents.
If they had expected the kids to be coming home soon, why would that stuff be in the storage? On the other hand, if they didn't think the kids were ever coming back, why keep it?
17-year-old Tylee's Aunt Annie says she noticed a major shift in Lori Vallow's personality in 2018. She claims Lori became obsessed with the end of days and the afterlife, and claims that she even made frightening comments about her children.
I met Lori in 2002. She had just recently married my brother. We were fast friends. She really felt like a sister, and my kids absolutely loved her. She was Aunt Lolo. I never noticed any kind of red flags until our visit in 2018. One of the biggest concerns was she had this fixation on the end times. She went so far as to say that it's going to be so scary, sometimes she thinks it'd be better to just put her kids in the car and go over the side of a cliff. Lori changed significantly. In addition to the end time stuff, I saw a lack of empathy. When my brother died, she didn't tell me that he had passed. My family didn't find out until 5 weeks after she couldn't be bothered. He didn't have a funeral. He didn't even have an obituary. It was like he just slipped away without anyone noticing. Lori seems absolutely infatuated with her new and fifth husband, Chad Daybell. Chad is deep into the teachings of the afterlife. Learning about his teachings gave me context for some of the crazier things she said. The chances of Tylee and JJ being alive are extremely remote. Nothing that she's doing is in any way indicative of a parent who just has her children safely tucked away.
JJ was last seen September 23rd, but no one can say when Tylee was last seen. And it just feels like Tylee, like her dad, just slipped away unnoticed. Seeing the video footage of Lori and Chad living their best aloha life in Hawaii, Lori's children are unaccounted for, is unimaginable. It's infuriating. There are total strangers who are more worried about her kids than she is.
Well, Annie, I'm glad you're here, but I'm really sorry for the circumstances. When did this hit your radar that something was not right here?
She didn't tell me about my brother's death. I found out about my brother's death through a family member who had been contacted by a funeral home or the ME's office. And so I reached out to her. She asked me to come out to be a support to Tylee. And it was in that visit in May of 2018 that I started noticing things that were disturbing.
So she didn't even tell you that your brother had died? What?
Yeah. That...
How strange is that in your relationship with her?
It was very strange because when I found out, I thought, oh my gosh, like, she must not know, because they had a very contentious divorce and custody battle. And so I just thought, oh my gosh, like, she doesn't know, Tylee doesn't know. So I reached out to her. She didn't answer the call, but then I emailed her and asked her, you know, please call me, it's important, it has to do with Joe. And she called me and then said, yes, I know. So it was very, very jarring. And then she asked me to come out to be a support to Tylee, and I just kind of had to take a couple days to, you know, kind of process it, and decided to put aside my personal feelings and go out there to connect with Tylee.
Mm-hmm. You went there and you said you got a really odd feeling while you were there about just the dynamic of the situation. What was it that you saw that bothered you, and what did she say that bothered you?
She just made some really inappropriate comments about my brother in front of Tylee, one that actually erupted. I mean, Tylee got very, very, very upset and screamed. And then in my personal interactions with Lori, Tylee wasn't there for these, but her fixation on the end times, like that was brand new. She had never mentioned anything about that. It was like she was trying to alert me, like, you know, like that there was some kind of imminent danger, and she wanted me to know that these times were going to be really scary, and she thinks, you know, because of how scary it'd be, it would be better to just put the kids in the car and go off the side of a cliff. And so that was, you know, that was a hard line that had been crossed, and, you know, she saw the just look of horror, you know, and she immediately started walking it back, you know, and just like, oh, I'm totally kidding, you know, I'd never hurt my kids and that kind of thing, but, you know, there was just no walking back.
Where do you think these children are?
Seeing the footage of the storage unit, that was just kind of like, that was the last straw for me, and, you know, just walking away from her life as a mother, you know, it just seems like, it's like, okay, that is behind her, and she has just started a new life. So all of these things, unfortunately to me, and I hope I'm wrong, but they just seem indicative of someone who knows that her kids are gone.
It just seems to me that once Lori found out after Charles was killed that she had been removed as the sole beneficiary of his $1 million policy, I just think she hit the panic button and everything just kind of hit the fan.
And later, what do you have to say to her?
I don't have anything to say to Lori right now, but I have something to say to Chad. Chad, look in the TV, look in my eyes. Man up, son. It is time for you to have a talk with your wife and end this. Find those kids.
It's a complicated case, this one here. Lori Vallow is the woman at the center of it. She was living in Arizona last summer. Her husband, Charles, died in Chandler. He was actually shot by Lori's brother, who claims that he did it in self-defense. But her brother is also now dead. Lori moved to Idaho and married Chad Daybell, whose wife had also just died under mysterious circumstances. Lori's kids, Joshua and Tylee, who once lived here in the valley, disappeared in September. And to add another layer to this story now, Lori and her new husband, Chad, the ones now in Hawaii, are also involved in a doomsday cult.
Now, you think this could be insurance-driven, money-driven?
Absolutely. My opinion is it just seems to me that once Lori found out after Charles was killed that she had been removed as the sole beneficiary of his $1 million policy, I just think she hit the panic button and everything just kind of hit the fan, because now she was out of a meal ticket as well as the insurance money.
This is her fifth husband, right?
Exactly.
This is her fifth husband. And I want to take a look at the family tree here for a minute, kind of a flow chart of everything that has happened here. We've got Lori here, and she has a first ex-husband who there's no record of, a second ex-husband, and then we pick up with her third ex-husband, which is Joe, and he's circled in red here because he dies of an apparent heart attack. We come down here and we've got her current husband, Chad. Now, his former wife is now dead, and Lori's fourth husband was killed by her brother, who is now dead. And then her two children, JJ, who was adopted, and Tylee, who is the daughter of Joseph, these two are missing. So you've got 4 dead and 2 missing, and then these two are not talking. This doesn't pass the smell test under any theory whatsoever. When I look at the video from the storage building, that's some kind of a bag. Now, that's very heavy. What would be in that bag that's so heavy? He's a pretty big guy. I'm a pretty big guy. And if I'm carrying something that I've got to actually walk this way, that's 100 pounds or more. Colby, do you know anything that you had seen in the house or home that would be in a bag that weighs over 100 pounds?
The only thing I know my mom always had was a lot of food storage. So like water, rice, beans, stuff like that would be heavy, but I mean, I don't know exactly what that is, but.
JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, say they were the first to sound the alarm about Tylee and JJ being missing. They've even offered a $20,000 reward to anyone who comes forward with information about their whereabouts. We're going to add them to this conversation after the break.
The morning Charles was murdered, Charles arrived at Lori's house to pick up JJ to take him to school.
Supposedly, Charles hit Lori's brother, Alex, with the bat.
I turned around and he hit me in the back of the head with the bat.
Alex shot him twice with his pistol, and Charles was murdered.
JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry, say they want to believe that Lori and Chad Daybell would never harm their 2 children. They say it's hard, though, when people around them seem to be dying left and right.
About a year ago, Lori was gone for 58 days. Before she left, she indicated to Charles that she did not want JJ and she wanted out of the marriage. Charles filed for divorce.
The morning Charles was murdered, He arrived at Lori's house to pick up JJ to take him to school.
Charles walks in the house. There's Alex, Lori's brother. A confrontation occurred. Tylee came out of her room with a baseball bat, and supposedly Charles hit Alex with the bat.
I turned around and he hit me in the back of the head with the bat.
Alex shot him twice with his pistol, and Charles was murdered.
When I saw the body cam with Alex, I didn't believe it for a second.
I went to my room and got my gun.
Since Charles's death, we've only had 3 FaceTimes with JJ, and the last one being August 10th. I first heard of Chad Daybell about a year ago. Charles told me that Lori was videoing herself dancing and sending the videos to Chad. Just when things couldn't get any crazier, we found out that Chad's wife, Tammy, died unexpectedly.
Daybell's wife, Tammy, also died under mysterious circumstances last fall.
Once Tammy passed away, our concerns for JJ's welfare became heightened.
That's when we started calling Child Protective Services. We started panicking. Where's JJ? Where's Tylee? We're not going to allow ourselves to think negative. We want JJ and Tylee to be found. We want them found safe.
You were concerned about the safety of JJ because people start turning up dead. And there's crazy talk going on, right? This is troubling to you because you can't be there to run interference, right?
That is correct. JJ is our soul and our heart. And when the emphasis was on the murders, all 3 of them, and we kept asking, where's the kids? Where's JJ? Where's Tylee? Where is Bailey? What can we do to heighten the awareness? Everybody said they would get right back with us.
Well, you did exactly the right thing. Does anybody here think that Charles Vallow's personality is such that he would get a bat and attack Alex, hit him in the head with a bat?
Absolutely not. No.
That
Completely
dog doesn't hunt.
No.
That's not who he is.
You don't even take the dog out of the cage for that. That's ridiculous.
Here's what Charles said in his divorce filings. Father attempted to get the mother some help, but refuses. Quote, they would discover that she is a translated being. Clearly, mother is not in a clear mental state, and father is concerned that mother would not be able to make decisions concerning JJ that would be in his best interest. You said she was talking about end of days a lot. What kinds of things was she saying?
Basically, growing up, it was about that things didn't matter as much because we could die tomorrow, or that it was coming and it's not worth building yourself up, you know, like maybe going to college. Like certain things just don't matter because it's not gonna matter in the end when the world ends. It's not gonna matter.
Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
What makes this story so mysterious is the fact that this mother appears to know what happened to her children and doesn't seem worried about them and refuses to say where they are.
Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?
No comment.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say? You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children? Yeah, why don't you just give us a comment? Just tell us where they are. Chad, where are Lori's kids? What happened to Tammy, Chad? Can you tell us what happened to Tammy? Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
That's great.
That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. What? You have nothing to say? Did you do something to your children? Are your children still alive? That's a simple question. I've got 3 kids of my own. I can tell you every minute where my kids are at. Where are your children?
Is that unusual behavior for your mother to stonewall like that?
Yeah, I mean, that video specifically was like when I really, really lost it emotionally, just anger, and I don't understand what she's doing.
And she won't talk to you?
No, I mean, she's walking around, just people are asking her, and she hasn't told anybody where the kids are. And she's just, I guess she's fine. I don't understand it. That's not what she's done before.
Do you think you're entitled to answers from her?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, since the beginning, when it comes to Tylee and JJ, that she can do whatever she wants. But when it comes to them, we all deserve answers. We care about them, love them, and their lives are not her choice.
As the grandparents of JJ, what do you have to say to her?
I don't have anything to say to Lori right now, but I have something to say to Chad. Chad, look in the TV, look in my eyes. Man up, son. It is time for you to have a talk with your wife and end this. Find those kids.
We'll be right back. At this point, Lori Vallow is being held in a jail in Hawaii after being arrested on a warrant issued by Madison County, Idaho. Now, another new development has also occurred. It has been alleged that Lori's niece, Melanie, may have knowledge of what happened to these children. In a divorce filing, Melanie's ex-husband claims that she is aware of the whereabouts of Tylee and JJ, but yet is refusing to cooperate with authorities. Now, we will be following that development as well. If you have any information regarding these missing children, please do not hesitate and immediately call the Rexburg Police Department directly at 208-359-3000 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. There will be more information about today's show on drphil.com and also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This conversation will continue on all of those platforms. Please join that conversation. You may not know what you know, and your piece of the puzzle and somebody else's all comes together, and it may give us information that we need. We'll see you next time.
Bounce, bounce, all the girlies bounce. Take 'em to my house, turn the party out. Bounce, 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 all the girlies bounce. Take 'em to my house, turn the party out.
You warned me 1,000 times, memories can kill ya, but I didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive, call it